we teed it up at the start of the show for a reason. No bigger place to start than the game that literally all of America saw on Fox. That would be the Buffalo Bills with another statement win, a 31-10 beating of the Dallas Cowboys on a rainy day in Western New York. And the 31-10 scoreline doesn't even do justice to how one-sided it was. The Bills bullied the Cowboys on offense. They flummoxed them on defense. Just an amazing performance, for lack of a better word. And who better to sum it all up than the guys who were there? A wet one in Buffalo. I'm joined now by Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olson. Okay, y'all, I definitely want to get to James Cook. But for me, the thing that stands out is this was a Bills defense that had dealt with a lot of adversity this year. And to not just beat Dallas, but, I mean, dominate them until the game was out of reach. What did you see from the Bills defense and the way Sean McDermott called this, that they were able to just put a lid on the Cowboys like that?
You know, they were great. And Sean McDermott has not coached against Mike McCarthy since Mike was in Green Bay, so it's been a while. That was as good as any team has played Dallas defensively this year.
Yeah, and obviously that's the tape going forward that everybody's going to study. Now, seeing how Buffalo did it and being able to replicate that yourself, of course, is two different things, but they put a lid on it. They can rush with four, and they're able to play a variety of different coverages. You can see the whole night, Dak just looked a little uneasy. We're so used to seeing him hit that back foot, be in rhythm, get the ball out, make plays downfield. There was no explosives. They fell behind, so they couldn't really lean on the run game at all, and all Buffalo had to do was sit those safeties back there, continue to change the looks underneath, and they gave Dallas all they could handle.
Yeah, they did.
Incredible performance from them. And then, like I said, I mean, James Cook, it felt like this performance was building for the last few weeks from James Cook. But, I mean, when he breaks out like this, what does it do for the Bills offense if this is another legit guy that they can lean on the way they did today?
Yeah, Dave, you know, I like that word, building, because we said during the broadcast, you know, he came into this game with 4 straight 100-plus yards from scrimmage games, right? And Joe Brady told us this week, he's like, I even told myself, and look, you know, there's caveats, pass protection, things like that, short yards, but he said, I got to try to get him the ball even more. You know what? It worked.
Yeah, I mean, we can teach the young back how to pass protect, right? At the end of the day, give him the ball, throw him the ball, check the ball down. I don't care how you get him the ball. When the guy has the ball, we've seen he's as electric a ball carrier as we've seen this entire season, regardless of position. So I think, Joe, he's on to something. I think the more they give him the ball, the better things are going to be. And, man, now you got to imagine being a defense. You come in, you're always worried about Josh Allen. You're always worried about Stephon Diggs. Now all of a sudden you got to worry about this running game, this back out of the backfield. They're building something pretty good here.
Been saying for a couple of weeks, don't let the Bills get hot. I think it's too late for that. They are officially hot. What a performance, y'all. Safe travels. Happy holidays. Appreciate it.
Same to you, Dave. See ya.
See you, bud.
Combined with the win against the Chiefs the week before, it's crazy to think what the Bills have accomplished in their last 2 games. And they're still not officially part of the AFC playoff field. They are still on the outside looking in. Strictly speaking, if we're looking at the tiebreakers and everything, they're only 9th in the AFC. They lose tiebreakers to Cincinnati on head-to-head. Indianapolis and Houston have them on conference wins. So there's still a lot of work for the Bills to do to even be in the playoffs. And yet, how many teams in the NFL do you feel really and truly confident about beating the Bills right now? Niners, of course. I'll give you San Francisco. They're on a roll. No problem whatsoever. Baltimore? Sure. I'll give you Baltimore. The Ravens are on top of the AFC right now. It's well deserved, but don't act like the Ravens don't have a tendency to play some weird, close games. Maybe they even lose a few they shouldn't. I'll give you the Ravens out of respect to what they're doing, but I'm not even 100% sure about that. Even still, that's 2 teams. 2 teams that I definitively feel are better than the Bills after this beatdown of the Cowboys. Consider in this game that they so comfortably won, their star quarterback, Josh Allen, only needed to complete 7 passes. They didn't even need him to do his superhuman thing, as he was joined afterward by our own Aaron Andrews after the game.
Hey, Josh, you guys told me you felt rejuvenated after beating Kansas City in Kansas City last week. How do you feel after beating Dallas? And they were coming in with a 5-game win streak.
Let James cook. What a game from him. What a game from our O-line. What a game from our defense. We were smart with the ball, took care of business at home. We just got to take it one game at a time, but we're a confident team right now. We got to keep things going.
James Cook basically had career highs in everything today. Why, first of all, and what did you think about the way he played?
I mean, he ran the ball so hard. Our offensive line gave him holes to run through. Our guys on the perimeter blocked their tails off, and our receivers made plays when they had to. It wasn't a pretty passing game by all means. You talk about the weather, the rain, the wind, but when in doubt, give it to our running backs. Let's go grind out some yards, and our offensive line was up for the task today.
You know what looked pretty, though? Your defense. I mean, you want to give those guys some love against this Dallas offense?
Yeah, that's one of the highest-flying offenses in the league, and our defense came out. They played so well. Coach McDermott called a heck of a game, and he had us prepared to go this week. And, again, we're going to celebrate this one tonight, turn our attention to next week. Where are we going? L.A. Chargers next week, next Saturday. So that'll be the only thing on our minds.
All right, appreciate it. We had a time in Buffalo, man. Thanks.
I hope you did. This is a great spot. I hope people can start to realize that.
We had a time. Thanks, Josh.
Go Bills.
Yep.
I got to say, it makes me a little uncomfy that Josh Allen is an all-world quarterback who's also capable of making a pun as bad as let James cook. That's supposed to be my job, is the bad wordplay. Making me feel a little threatened here, Josh, but just can't say enough about this Bills performance. And as great as they were, please don't think I'm taking credit away. An equally disappointing day for the Dallas Cowboys. It's a theme for the season. We're supposed to get these amazing tests of teams' might and where they stand in the NFL hierarchy. I mean, it's a dominant performance by Buffalo, but you got to feel like it's a little bit of a no-show from the Dallas Cowboys, as evidenced by Josh Allen saying afterward that he felt like he was the kid that got an A on a class project that he didn't participate in. How you lose by 21 to the Buffalo Bills without Josh Allen even really needing to put his stamp on the game? Bills go for 350 total yards on a rainy, gross day, 266 rushing yards. Cowboys, I know Jonathan Hankins is out with an ankle injury right now. Jonathan Hankins is a good player. He doesn't make the difference in you having the ball absolutely fed to you all day long. 5.4 yards per carry from the Bills. We all know about James Cook. Josh Allen had a hand in it as well. On the flip side, the Dallas offense, which was the strength of this team, averaging 40 points per game over the last month and a half, 193 yards on the day, 80 of them, almost half of that production, and their only touchdown came with less than 10 minutes to play in a 31-3 game. Truly garbage time production. Cowboys offense, led by Dak Prescott, did absolutely nothing when the game was remotely in doubt. It's a testament to a Bills defense that has struggled, even holding the Chiefs to 17 points the week before. They gave up their fair share of yardage. Not the case here. They forced the Cowboys into a pass-heavy script. You can't find any semblance of balance. And even as good as Dak Prescott's been throwing the ball this year, as great as he's been on third down, I feel like he didn't have a shot. On the rare occasion he had time to get the ball off, the Bills took everything down the field away. And please don't underestimate, the guy never had time to throw. He was sacked 3 times, felt like he was pressured even more than that. He finishes with 134 passing yards, a second half interception when it was all truly out of reach. Interception's not the reason why they lost this game. The inability to do anything while the score was still close is the culprit here. But I do think maybe Cowboy fans don't want to hear this. It was a fun ride. I think this puts an end to the MVP candidacy of Dak Prescott. Rare to see an MVP candidate lose a game in this much of a lopsided fashion, this close to the end of the season, and still rebound. I guess because it is such a wide open year, it's possible. I would call it extremely unlikely. And no, you might hear this everywhere else this week, but on the NFL on Fox podcast, we're not going to dogpile on Dak. It's definitely not all his fault. He didn't play well. Certainly not all his fault. And you could go on and on about the various reasons why the Cowboys fell so short. I think about Mike McCarthy inexplicably failing to challenge an obvious fumble by Stephon Diggs that would have given the Cowboys a chance in this game. Stephon Diggs picks up a third down. Ball clearly comes out before he's on the turf. Bills do a phenomenal job of playing hurry up, getting to the ball, snapping it. Mike McCarthy said they didn't have a chance to get a look at it in time. Mike, you had all 3 timeouts. You call timeout, challenge it, get a look at it, refs overturn it, get the ball in Bills territory, down 14-3, 5 minutes until halftime. In the way they move the ball, maybe nothing comes of it. It at least gives you a shot. Never happened. Penalties were a huge part of this. Unnecessary roughness on DeMarcus Lawrence bails Josh Allen out on third down, gives the Bills another opportunity at a game-opening touchdown. Cowboys opening possession. Unnecessary roughness flag on Zach Martin after Dak picks up an unnecessary roughness flag. That negates it. That stalls out a Cowboys drive. They punt. How about roughing the punter on Sam Williams? Negates a Bills punt. Would have given the Cowboys the ball back in a 7-0 game. Instead, the Bills go down to score, make it 14-0. Once you fall down by multiple scores, the tenor of the game changes. I mentioned Zach Martin a minute ago. It's also worth pointing out he leaves the game early with a quad injury, doesn't return. Maybe it's excuse making, but I would say losing a Hall of Fame caliber player probably plays a role in the Cowboys' complete inability to protect Dak. The Bills' defensive tackles ate all day. Edge rushers Leonard Floyd, having an incredibly underrated season for Buffalo right now, gave the guy 0 time. Fortunately for the Cowboys, Zach Martin expressed confidence afterward that he should or at least may be able to go next week. Doesn't do anything to change just how bad this was. This is exactly why I thought this was a bigger opportunity for the Cowboys than the Philly game. I said that last week, kind of got some pushback on it. But look, winning at home against the division rival is something the Cowboys have shown they can do time and time again. Going on the road against a playoff contender that you're not familiar with playing. Cowboys haven't played the Bills in 4 years. Different challenge, and it looks like it. At home, Dallas, 7-0, plus 171 point differential. On the road, they now fall to 3-4 with a point differential of -4. The last-second loss in Philly is their only road loss that is anything resembling respectable. They lose by 12 to Arizona. They get dog-walked by San Francisco. They now get dog-walked by Buffalo. They're scoring an average of 18 points per game on the road. They're losing by an average of 18 points per game on the road. And keep in mind, that average accounts for a 40-0 shutout of New York in the season opener. So even with a win like that in the books, you're losing by 3 scores in your road games. And this loss just so happens to drop the Cowboys to a 27% chance to win their division. So some football left to play, 3 games. We're not going to call it a lot, but some football left to play. It's a solid bet. This team is going to have to learn how to win on the road to win anything in the postseason, let alone string together multiple postseason wins. No need to get that far ahead of myself because unlike the loss to San Francisco, the Cowboys don't have to wait long at all for a shot at redemption. They go right back on the road next week at 10-4 Miami. Still a game against Detroit too. So all the opportunity in the world to put this one behind you. But this is why I wanted to see it. This is why I thought this was a statement opportunity. It's not the end of the season. We'll get to it later in the show. The Cowboys are officially in the postseason, so you can at least hang on to that. But man, when things go off the rails for the Cowboys, they go way, way off the rails. It's happened a couple times this season. It happens once again in Buffalo at just the wrong time of the season.